What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back for another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. I went to see the King of R&B in Las Vegas this past weekend, and y'all, it was so good. That concert was gooder than a mug. I'm talking about money well spent. And I'm going again. Okay, I'm going to see Usher again. Y'all, let me recap. So we all know Usher has had a residency in Vegas for almost a year now. And I don't know if I have been mentioning this, but it seemed like my friend group don't ever want to do nothing. Okay, they don't never want to go nowhere. Got time? They can't go without their husband. It's always can't travel. I can't go. It's in Vegas. So it has taken me this long to actually secure a crew to go see Usher in Las Vegas. I finally found it. Okay, went to homecoming. My line sister Kadia was talking, and she mentioned wanting to go see Usher and how everybody else she knew went to go see Usher. I then said, oh shoot, I want to go see Usher too. Let's plan it. We had that trip planned within maybe a week or two. Tickets secured. This was months ago, because I'm sure y'all have also heard this. Them tickets be selling out, honey. Those tickets don't be available. They gonna sell out. Usher Raymond the Fourth, he gonna sell out them shows, which I ain't mad at, because listen, that's a money grab. That boy be out here getting to it. I'm gonna get into that in a second. So went to see Usher this past weekend, and it was the best. Oh my God. So there are different ways to get tickets. You can go directly to MGM and buy them individually. Ticketmaster will lead you to the page where you can buy them. We went through MGM and got a package. Now, I did not know this. When I was looking for tickets before we booked this, I was just looking at just buying one or two tickets, and that's it. I had no clue there was a package option, which was super clutch. So for y'all that are interested in going, and you know, you have to factor in hotel, you know, lodge, because unless you live in Vegas, you gotta have somewhere to stay. MGM on their site has different packages for the Usher concert, and there are different levels, ranging from like great packages to super dope. We got the package where you got 2 nights at a hotel, one of the MGM resorts. So that can be MGM Grand, Park MGM, the Aria, and so on. You get 2 tickets in the 200 level, and that arena it feels very intimate. So while 200 don't sound close, them seats was close. We had great seats. So we got the tickets and the 2 nights at the hotel. Perfect. Fantastic. Got to Las Vegas, had time to have, you know, some dinner and things. But one thing we did not know, and I will say they did a bad job of advertising this, and I'm telling y'all in case y'all get the tickets using the package. There was also a $150 resort credit that you can use at restaurants, spas, and other places and venues within the MGM network. We didn't know this until we turned around after we got our VIP package, which we didn't know we was going to get a packet. We got an email that says, pick up your packet the morning of the show. We go down to the VIP desk. They give us this envelope. We reading the fine print on the back. That's what we found out. We had $150 to spend. Clutch. Because if you go to Vegas and you go into a show, you have to have a nice dinner and drinks. You have to have a delicious dinner. Y'all, when we tell you we use that $150 up, and that's per room. So if it's 2 rooms, like 4 of y'all, y'all got $300. Okay, y'all got $300. We had dinner at the delicious Thai restaurant called Lemongrass. The food was fooding. Had some cocktails. The liquor was in me. Okay, it was in me. Highly recommend. It was delicious. We then sashayed our way over to the arena. Now, it said doors open at 8. Show start at 9. We get there about 8. We got there a little bit past 8, maybe about 8:20ish, 8:30. We thought we was running late. We like, oh shit, we got to get in here, get a cocktail, then sit down. Y'all, the show didn't start till about 9:30, 9:45. We had plenty of time. We in there drinking, go in, sit out, get in our seats, find out they were pretty good. The DJ was DJing. I'm talking about whoever curated the experience for this show, get top notch, get him a raise. The DJ was playing like it was a party in there. Before that show, it's a party. Everybody was turned up. I'm talking about from old people. It was couples in there that looked like they was on HBCU campus in 82. They played Doing the Butt, and there was a couple aunties that got up. You could tell they was on the yard when that actually hit the street. So it was just a great experience. Now, Usher Raymond, the king of R&B. I don't want to hear no more about who is the king of R&B. It is Usher. This man performs nonstop for 2 hours, sings, vocals still sound like they sounded years ago, dances, roller skates, again, 3 times a week for 2 hours nonstop. Now, I know it's a lot of people who aren't performers who don't really understand. Y'all see things and y'all like the experience, but people do not know what it takes to get there and the toll that it does on the body. In order to perform a stand-up comedy set and do an hour, you got to maintain your breath. You got to keep your voice. You have to critique all of your performances multiple times. Remember the edits and the corrections, then go back and do it in front of a live audience every night. For Usher to have maintained this at this level, because he wasn't phoning it in, that man was full out. And he's been doing this for a year. I don't want to hear, at his age, Usher in his 40s, I don't want to hear nothing else. I do not want to hear nobody talk about who the king of R&B is. People throw out Chris Brown. Listen, I love Chris Brown. He's a great guy. Chris Brown cannot sing live. He cannot sing live. He don't. Them be backing tracks. It wasn't no backing tracks. Usher was singing. People throw out the artists that we don't talk about. And for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to say his name. People have been saying R. Kelly is the king of R&B and been saying this for years. Let's have a real discussion about this. Let's say he wasn't an abuser, a predator, and a pedophile. I just had to say that because we're not gonna forget. We ain't forgetting. Let's say that he was not convicted of those crimes, and we just going straight off of the music. From my perspective, in order to be the king of something, you have to have multiple things that you're able to do. In this case, he's great at writing songs and producing songs. And another aspect is the longevity of it and maintaining this. The vocals, live vocals, they've been shaky. I've been to a concert. Dancing, can't dance. Walking to the front of the stage and gyrating and grabbing your penis. Besides that, to be considered king, all you got to do is to be producing and writing great songs. If that's the case, is Jermaine Dupri the king of R&B? Because Jermaine Dupri has written and produced some of the biggest songs and albums in the history of R&B music, i.e. Mariah Carey. Jermaine Dupri is also one of the only Black hip hop R&B artists to be in the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Alongside, I'm going to name some other people, Missy Elliott and Jay-Z. So, if one person who people keep calling the king of R&B is the king, mainly because he write and produce good songs, is Jermaine Dupri a competitor? What about Missy? Is Missy the king of R&B? Because they all do the same thing. Adding in how I think about Usher. Usher, while he did not write and produce, he has other pieces of talent and artistry that can be added. He can actually sing. Still, he can still sing well. He can dance. He performs. He actually is present during those performances. And let me add, Usher, out of the people I just named, is the only one to have a diamond album. Confessions went diamond. There are only 19 total hip hop and R&B albums that have ever made that hit that accomplishment. The person that people y'all been saying was the king R&B, he ain't on that list. He's not on the list. Therefore, we need to stop this discussion and call it what it is. Usher is the king of R&B. I'm open to debating this because we need to settle this. But I know who I'm going with, okay? And I expect that you feel the same. All in all, that concert was concerting, okay? Between the overall experience, once you step foot into that venue, the dancing, the background, he had strippers. And at one point, he had a stripper who you can tell she be in them club. I'm talking about she even had a real body. Everybody was commenting on how her body, she had the cellulite. Like she looked like he got her from Houston or Atlanta. She came out here for the weekend when she was supposed to be at work. I'm talking about, you know how the strippers be climbing up to the top of the pole and they just be falling down and slamming into the splits. She did that back to back like 16 times. I'm talking about acrobatics. Okay. Give that man and his flowers for having a diverse amount of talent in his shows. He threw out some Usher bucks. I got me a Usher buck. I got me some Usher bucks. I had to leave there with some. Denzel Washington voice. I'm from around the way. I'm leaving here with some. Okay. Overall, it was fantastic. I highly recommend. 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Please go see this show. I'm going again. That's how good it was and how much of a good time I had. I am going to go one more time. What did y'all think when y'all went, or are you planning to go? And if not, you better get on it. It was phenomenal. Let me know. Hit me up on social media with your thoughts. I'm at Cornelia on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Chris Rock's new comedy special dropped this past weekend on Netflix titled Selective Outrage. And this was the first time a comedy special was aired live on the site. Hell, I think this might have been the first time anything was live on the site on Netflix. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know Netflix, I've been seeing reports that they have plans to do that with other things moving forward. But I think this was the intro to that. So shout out to Netflix and Chris Rock for coming up with that collaboration, because when I talk about social media, when you talk about social media engagement and talk and chatter, it got the publicity and promo that it need. This was also the first time that Chris Rock has aired a comedy special since he got mollywopped on stage at the Oscars last year by Willard Smith. Now, I did not finish watching the show. I started watching it late. I be in that bed. I turned it off. So I will pick back up this week. I will finish. I got maybe through a third of it. So far, it seemed like it was traditional Chris Rock. Chris Rock has his style. He has his cadence. He delivers in a specific way. His jokes are tailored in a certain way and crafted. So it was on brand. Now, I can't really get into the jokes because it seemed like he was just heating up by the time that I watched. But what I gather from people talking on social media, this is what it seems like. If you were a fan of Chris Rock already, you liked the special. If you were not a fan of Chris Rock already, you hated the special. Period. I did not see any chatter from anybody who was like, oh, he gained a new fan. It was like, yeah, I knew it. I was excited. I was happy to see him and I loved it. And it was people saying like, he a hater and he need to let it go and he need to shut up. It was extreme. I also have not had in-person conversations with comedians about their thoughts about the special, which is a totally different conversation because we watch critique and discuss stand-up differently, of course, because we are in the industry. The same way, if you are a chef, you talk about other people's food and critique and taste it and eat it differently than me going to a restaurant. We ain't the same in that regard, and I understand that and respect it. Also, when comedians talk amongst each other, we gonna tell each other how we really feel about it, okay? With your trusted group of colleagues, because you can't do that with everybody. Some people be hating, but that's a whole nother. That's for later. Now, I do notice, and people have been saying this as well, and I've noticed this for a long time. I feel like now people watch stand-up comedy to pick it apart. People are no longer watching stand-up comedy to enjoy it and have a good time, unless you go into a show in person, because that's a different level of commitment. When you book tickets and buy them and go in person, you paying for gas. 2 tickets to a comedy show gonna run you about $50, $60. Then you got to pay for the 2 drink minimum. Sometimes you get food. If it's a hot date, you going to dinner before or afterwards. It's a whole bill. So you got to be a fan of whoever is performing or a fan of the art in order to appreciate that, because you putting your money where your mouth is. When it comes to streaming, Netflix $10.99 a month. You can click play and hate watch all you want, which I feel like people are doing. And I'm not saying this about just Chris Rock. I'm saying this about everybody. Not everybody. I take that back. From the haters. And honestly, with that idea that people aren't watching to enjoy or to laugh or have a good time, they're watching to hate or be mad at something or critique or pick it apart. I hate that for all of us. I hate that for comics because it makes our job harder. It makes people more fearful because we don't feel like we can really write and craft jokes the way we want to, because now we're walking on eggshells because y'all just ready to jump and pounce on. For those that don't care about that, we know that social media chatter is important. But then on the flip side, we also know that all chatter is good chatter. And if you're talking shit about it, people still gonna watch to see what it's about. People comics are scared of this cancel culture idea. Not me necessarily, because I don't really that's not my brand of comedy, but I understand it and it is messed up. I hate that for the consumer because y'all don't know what stand-up comedy is. And I feel like different generations won't know or recognize true stand-up because y'all not getting it as much as y'all would have in earlier times. Even think about like Eddie Murphy. If we watch some old Eddie Murphy or some old Richard Pryor, hell, even some more, y'all would faint. Like, it's just a different time, and it makes it harder for absolutely everyone. And I hate that for all of us. But that also just magnifies what I've been noticing in general anyway. People on social media be mad every week. I don't know if it's as recently or if I'm just noticing it more, but people be online just bitching about every single thing. Every day, people be bitching. People be trying to disrespect somebody, just saying stuff that they wouldn't dare say to someone's face or in public, hiding behind fake profiles. They be on their burner accounts just talking big shit. Because again, there is no repercussions. People feel like they ain't gonna bump into nobody, or they know they ain't about to get slapped for saying stuff that's crazy. It's just a wild time. I literally saw today somebody posted the end game, on Avengers Endgame, where all of the Avengers finally got out the portal. The snap was reversed. They all assembled and fought Thanos and his goons. Somebody posted that scene on Instagram and said, on Twitter, and said, this is the most unnecessary scene ever in Marvel history. What? Y'all just be talking. Like that statement alone is random. It's off base. It's negating all of the buildup that took to get there. It's ignoring that's the first time that all of the Avengers were ever together in the same scene at the same time. People just be saying shit. to get people upset. And I am sick of it. I'm starting to get more and more why people be announcing that they're taking a social media break. To me, it's starting to seem like somebody grabbing a megaphone and yelling out F you over on a speaker. F you! Like, it seemed like that's what it is. I'm also accepting the fact that maybe I'm just becoming grouchy and it's just me. But I don't know. I'll be annoyed. And also too, we mentioned this and it went viral from somebody else. We online with everybody in school. We and I used to this because we used to be broken up in different ways. You had the magnet, the gifted and talented. You had the AP kids. You had the regular classes, and you had the people who needed special assistance. We just online with everybody, and that ain't how it's designed. I ain't been in Gen Pop in school, okay? I wasn't in Gen Pop with everybody, so I don't know how to feed out and weed out these conversations because I ain't used to it. I'm not used to it. Help us. We're magnet program social media, okay? Where is the gifted and talented Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook? I need to know where they at. We got to get over there, okay? We got to get over there, y'all. I'm fatigued. But then on another twist of that, I'm doing the same thing that I'm just complaining about. I get on Black News every week and I'm mad at somebody. It's a cycle. Help pray for me, okay? Pray for your girl. Did y'all watch the Chris Rock special? What did you think about it? Or were you a fan already of Chris Rock? Were you not? People were specifically talking about him addressing the slap between Will Smith and him and also Jada Pinkett. Some people were yelling he need to get over it and move on. Some people were like, yeah, good for him. Honestly, y'all, if people were surprised he was going to talk about it, y'all crazy. You ain't going to get slapped at the Oscars as a stand-up comic and not put it in your next special. That's ridiculous to think. So not surprising that he went there. But I haven't watched it yet, so I can't give my thoughts about if it was a crafty joke, if he seemed hurt. People said he seemed like he was tearing up and his eyes were tearing up. Lord, I don't know. I'm going to watch it and let y'all know, though. Hit me up on social media and let me know your thoughts about what you saw on Netflix. Congratulations to the Creed 3 team for a fantastic opening weekend of the movie. This is the third installment of the Creed franchise. This is also, I believe, the 9th Rocky film overall. And by Rocky, I know Creed ain't about Rocky, but it is under that umbrella. We gonna call it the universe since we were talking about Marvel earlier. So it is in the Creed universe, the 9th film. There were 6 Rocky films. Then there were 3 Creeds. But it was a big weekend. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, Jonathan Majors, the production team. Ryan Coogler was one of the producers on it. He did not write this one. His brother Keenan, and then there was another writer alongside with him, wrote it. There was Michael B. Jordan's first time directing a movie, his directorial debut. And when I tell y'all, this kudos to all of them. So some stats. And before I get into the stats, the promo for this movie, it felt real old school. And by old school, I mean big budget. Y'all remember back in the day before the pandemic, when a movie was premiering, they put the money up. Their marketing plan was top notch, 360. They hit all aspects. They had social media. They had billboards. They had actual trailers. They tackled live in-person experiences. They had influencers getting boxing training from some of the Creed 3 trainers and fighters that were in the movie. I'm talking about hit it on all sides. This felt like something that came out in 1999 with the amount of money they put in budgets, because, back then they were spending money. Now they be trying to act like they ain't got no money. They be trying to act like Hollywood ain't got no more money. That's a lie. That's a big lie. But anyway, okay, some of the stats. This movie opened number 1. It was a global opening. In the United States, it was a $58.6 million weekend. That's huge. And this is post-pandemic where people ain't going to the movies. And let me tell you, I was looking for tickets, and I've been going to the movies to see some of the things that I liked over the past year. Most of the theaters for the movies that I wanted to see, and I be seeing them on opening weekend, them theaters be empty. When I tell you, these shows were sold out. I'm talking about only seats available in the front row. Literally, people was packing these theaters. It was $100 million opening worldwide. And I add that it was opened at number one because there was a Marvel movie, Ant-Man, that came out a couple weeks ago. Now, with some of the big Marvel movies, those be number one for 4-6 weeks for a long time, especially when there ain't no big movies opening up around that same time. Y'all, this they ain't care about no Quantum Mania, okay? They ain't care about that. Creed was number one. Okay, so $58.6 million weekend. This was the biggest opening of all Creed and Rocky movies. The biggest opening of all 9 total. And this is back when y'all Rocky 4 was peak Rocky. I think that was one of the bigger ones. Not to say if it was the biggest, because I don't know the stats on that. But y'all, this beat all of them. And let me say this. They did that without Sylvester Stallone. Creed 3 did not have Sly in that. Ain't wasn't no Rocky. This was all Apollo Creed family, okay? This was the biggest opening ever for a sports movie. Think about that. We talking about all sports movies in total. This was the biggest opening ever for a sports movie. This was the biggest opening ever for a black director in their directorial debut. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. This was the biggest opening ever for Amazon. And I think somebody said that Amazon purchased MGM, which I had no clue. So Amazon was looped into this. And let me say this, all those stats, with this being a black movie, because this movie was black as hell, Rocky franchise has historically not been what you would consider black. Hell, the soundtracks was all rock music, which I was jamming to. I love me some Rocky. I love me some Rocky soundtrack music, okay? Kenny Loggins. I'm going to ride with me some Kenny Loggins. But this blue movie was blacker than a mug. So to have those stats in a time where Hollywood keeps on always has pushed this narrative that black movies don't sell overseas, which is a lie. The idea that black movies can't make over $20 million in a weekend at the box office. This idea that 3 black young actors can't carry a movie, that's a lie. It's been proven. Because what this also tells me, Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and Jonathan Majors, they are some Hollywood heavy hitters. Like, they literally carried this movie to a $58.6 million weekend. And I feel like some additional social media drama and chatter drove that, because even when last week they was calling Michael B. Jordan corny, that led people to want to go see what this movie was all about. So all publicity can be good publicity. Another thing to add, Jonathan Majors, who killed this role. I'm talking about killed it. Had 2 number 1 movies back to back in theaters for the last weekend. Ant-Man, because he Kang the Conqueror in Marvel now. And now he played a character named Damian Anderson in Creed 3. So while Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson killed it, Jonathan Majors, he on his way. Okay. I ain't gonna be the one to say that he's the next guy, because there's a lot of actors that I love. Shout out to Mahershala Ali, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, all of these people, Trevante Rhodes, but Jonathan Majors, that boy be acting. Okay. So about the movie, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna give no spoilers, but I highly enjoyed it. How I would rank it between Creed 1, 2, and 3. Creed 1 will always, to me, be the best one. Ryan Coogler is a genius with him being able to take a franchise that was completely over with, take a character that was killed off in the 4th installment, reimagine what would have happened to Apollo Creed's life Where is his family? What happened? Because I think who brought this up? I think Charlamagne the guy maybe brought this up on social media on a podcast that he was on or that he hosts. Apollo Creed was the driving character. Yes, Rocky was the main character, but Apollo Creed drove the story in each of the series up through number 4. The first one, Apollo Creed was the one that gave Rocky the shot. The second one, Apollo Creed needed to rematch, and it was about him fall from grace and giving Rocky the opportunity to realize his skill and his talent and to beat Apollo. Part 3, Apollo Creed was the one that brought Rocky back from the dead, trained him, and helped him to beat Clubber Lang. Rocky 4, Apollo Creed died, which threw the whole storyline into play and what caused Rocky to go over to Russia and beat up Ivan Drago. He was the driver in all of these. So the fact that Ryan Coogler took that storyline from a franchise that was done, a character that we loved but thought there was nothing left to come of him, and to create a story about a son that Apollo didn't even know he had, who is now a boxer who is chasing his dream and realizing his talent and his gift while having his own personal struggles, genius. Creed 1 will always be the best Creed. Now, as far as between 2 and 3, the storyline for Creed 3 I enjoyed better than the second one. I enjoyed some of the other moments of Creed 2 more. I loved more of the Tessa Thompson, Michael B. Jordan experiences in Creed 2 than I did 3, because I feel like we got them, but we got a different version of them. It was real and I loved it. I just wanted some more mushy because I love Tessa Thompson's character in this. But overall, highly recommend. Go see it. I would rank this in second place of the Creed franchises. I would rank Creed 1, number 1, Creed 3, number 2, and Creed 3, number 3. No, sorry, I got that wrong. I would rank Creed 1, Creed 3, number 2, and Creed 2, number 3. It also has an 87% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes with a 96% audience score. So, hey, listen, it's worth it. I'm probably going to go see it again because as a fan of the franchise, I need to watch all of the Rocky movies 1,000 times. So I'm going to go see it one more time before it gets on streaming. But let me know y'all thoughts about it and what you would rank this or where you would rank it in the Creed franchise or in the Rocky franchise overall. Hit me up on social media with your thoughts. To recap this week's episode, we talked about my trip to Las Vegas to see the King of R&B, Usher the Raymond, okay, and how much fun I had in the overall experience, which was fantastic. Also talked about Chris Rock's comedy special that dropped this weekend on Netflix. It was live, the first time a comedy special aired live, which was a huge accomplishment, and overall thoughts about the special in general. Then talked about the opening weekend for Creed 3, starring Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, Jonathan Majors, directed by Michael B. Jordan, which was number 1 at the box office and was the biggest sports movie debut of all time. Let me know what you thought about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next week, same time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again. Thank you. And thank you again so much for sticking with us, supporting the podcast, liking and subscribing on all apps where podcasts can be heard, rating 5 stars, and leaving a comment. It helps more than you know, so I really, really appreciate it. And keep sharing Black News with all of your friends and family. Be sure to hit me up on social media if you got ideas for topics. Or just hit me up in general to let me know you've been listening. Let me know your thoughts. I'm at Cornelia on all platforms across the board. That's at Cornelia, like Kenny and Ophelia. Also check my website. I got some shows coming up in Los Angeles County. Hopefully get on the road soon. But for now, if you're in the LA area, hit me up. Check Cornelia.com for show dates and details. And as always, Thanks again so much, guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Keep supporting, keep growing, keep building, keep staying safe, and keep staying healthy. As always, again, I'll see you back here next time, same time, same place. Bye.